did they feel pressure? Scary. So that's what I would like to leave you with is if you don't have a role play partner, find one. If you feel like you don't need to have a role play partner, find one. If you feel like you're an expert, go find someone. Go practice the things because at the end of the day, this is the meat and potatoes. If you don't want to practice your skill, if you don't like to have hard conversations, if you don't want to do any of this, you're in the wrong business. But if you do, there is a group of people that carve time out of their day-to-day to be here for sellers specifically. So I hope this was helpful. I will send out an email with those little drips if you guys missed it, but you cannot have difficult conversations unless you future paste it. So don't do that. And that's my thing on scripts and objection handling.
All right, so we're learning, our brains are hurting. Tell me, a couple people raised their hand and tell me what you need to start doing and stop doing. Give me a couple ahas. Give me some things you need to start doing, stop doing. Who's gonna go first?
Role playing.
Courageous ones, yes, Joe.
I think for me, transparently, you can poke holes in it if you want.
I will.
I have not used a formal presentation. I don't.
I know.
It doesn't work for me. It
I
just
know.
hasn't. Not saying I'm not open to it. I just go with the flow. So I need to start doing that. And the reason is not necessarily just to say I'm doing it. It's more of now to scale so that it's very, the same thing every single time. We stick to time frames. Mine is more of a casual, get the listing by playing in the moment with them, pre-qualifying prior, knowing that going in. So.
And really, I mean, and I'll challenge you on it to say, you're saying probably very similar things every single time. It is canned presentation, it's just yours.
Yes.
And that's what Mike would say to us. He'd go, well, which one's better? Which one has better results? And it's not anything good or bad, because I'm like you, I'm like, I'd rather go build rapport, I'm gonna get them to like me, and it was working, but it wasn't scaling to get to 130 transactions. So I needed that to be like so systematic, but yeah, no, I love that. Thank you for your vulnerability. What else? Somebody else.
For me, it was not value dumping and over explaining and spending 2 hours there. I would love to be in and out in 30 minutes.
Yeah. And typically an hour, so think 30 minutes like for presentation, all that, and then all the other stuff. But yeah, if it's under an hour, you're probably doing good. Over an hour, we're kind of like, we're moving in. Yeah. Nina.
Oh, okay, I couldn't see if anybody had their hand up. It's being prepared with all the market data going in so that you are the expert. You're giving them the options, you are driving the conversation, you're the one who's in the driver's seat, giving them some directional options, but they're not controlling you, otherwise they no longer see you as the expert.
Exactly. Yeah, I think we're definitely in a data-driven market, especially now. They have a lot of data too that they could just AI and get whatever they want. But it's like, how are we telling the data story is what I always say. What does the data tell us? And then let's tell a story around it. Trevor.
I just like the reminder that objections are just unresolved questions. I forget that, and every time I hear it, it's kind of like shoulders drop. You're right.
It's just a question. Yeah, they don't have that context, and we think they know what we know. They don't know any of what we know, so we got to give them all that context. I love it. What's one big takeaway? Role play. You're going to start role playing? I love it. I know you feel so weird because you feel dumb and incompetent. You're like, oh my God, this is so stupid. But that's okay, right? We're growing. It's just like practicing on the field. If you're a football team, you're going to go practice. You're going to fumble the ball, and then you're going to do it again. But don't fumble on your clients, right? I love it. All right. Well, we're going into our next section. So excited because we have two rock stars that are here with us. So I'm going to bring up Miss Amber Harveus and Miss Sharon Evans. Come on, ladies. Come on up. I'm trying to see this owl, Jessica. They can see us, like if we sit here. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Go ahead, ladies. Pick your poison. Where do you want to sit? Wherever you want to sit. Wherever you want to sit. Wherever you want to sit. I love it. Well, I'm excited for today because, like I told you guys, when I moved to this market, funny story, she doesn't remember, but I listed a property in one of your neighborhoods. It was her neighborhood. Which one neighborhood was that? What was it? Harrington Grove. So I'm this new little agent, I take this listing, and I take it way overpriced. And my coach said, you need to send your listings to every top agent in the market and say, hey, here's what I just listed, so you can start like, getting some presents. This was way back before all the things we had. So this was 2009. So I sent an email to Sharon, and so I said, I listed this home and this is the price. And she sent back a message, said, we can all hope. I was like, that bitch. And it didn't sell. She was right. Sharon was right. So it was just funny. But like I said, she has been a great, friend and mentor, and just has a way different brain. And it's fun to see. And the thing is, everybody works differently. Joe is a great listing agent. He's going to do it his way. If he decides he wants to do it a different way, he can do that. But it all works. It's just what are you going to do that sits well with your soul? And then Amber, of course, the other queen bee that I met a few years ago, and just such a hustler, hard worker, top listing agent, brings lots of emotion. So different personalities, analytical, high I, driver, both drivers, I think. You're a driver. They're both high Ds. But C and I would say, right? D-I-D-C? Yeah. Okay. All right, so basically between the two of you, you've probably listed over 200 homes in the last 12 months, I would guess. Right? So 200 homes, you guys, give them a round of applause. So that means you've had thousands of price objections, dozens of ego battles, countless my house is worth more conversations. Yes?
I think less, just because
Oh, maybe. See, I feel the same way, but
present.
yeah,
They kind of leave.
like,
I think you learn this the hard way.
yeah.
And I think when I heard Joe say, like I don't have a candid script, you learn that you have to follow a system and process, because if you don't, you have so many holes in your business that will continue to like steal your joy and steal your energy. And you quickly realize, like, I have to face the elephant in the room quicker.
Yeah.
And it has to be part of my listing presentation, because otherwise you do deal with a lot more egos and a lot more.
Yeah.
It's messy.
It can be very messy if you don't.
Like you said, if you kind of skipped it, oh, they're an old client, oh, they love
Yeah.
me. But if one time you skipped kind of going through the steps,
You feel it.
then they're chasing you. Well, when are you gonna do that? What happened then?
Mhm.
What's next?
Yeah.
And they kind of don't have their sure footing.
Yeah. Well, I'll go back. So COVID rewarded, kind of laziness, right? So we all had a COVID. It was I loved watching it. I wasn't even in it, but I was like, oh my God, you guys, this is like so cool to watch the agents do the thing that they did. And now we've got a different market. I think this market punishes that attitude. So tell me how the market has changed in the last 24 months. Like, what did you guys feel, even though you're top at your game, right? Unconscious competence at this point. What do you think has changed that you need them to hear? Because I watched our people go through it, like freaking out, going, I don't really know how to reduce the price or set expectations correctly. And we almost had to go back to the drawing board.
I think you just have to slow down.
Can you guys hear in the back too? No?
I can speak
Ish?
louder.
Yeah, I'm gonna make them yell. I wish we had a microphone. We don't, but.
You have to slow down right now and future pace of what's to come. And you have to really lean into the data. And to me, it's not what has sold, it's what are we up against? Like, if you were to put a listing on the market right now, what is that seller up against? What are builder incentives looking like? And really look at it more from the perspective of, if a buyer enters the marketplace now, what's everything that they're seeing? And bring a lot more truth, transparency, and honesty to your seller, because the market's gonna tell them anyways. And the less the market tells them, and the more you tell them, the more you guide them with trust and really a place of authority. Because the more the market tells them that you did it, they begin to trust you less and less and less, and that's where it gets messy. So you do have to tell them ugly things. I had to tell a seller yesterday, we're competing against new construction that's at 3.9%. That means the buyer that's at 400 is really able to buy a $500,000 house. So we're not really competing against that. We're really competing against what's below you. And how do we not overprice ourselves? Because when you go over 400,000, it's a different, where we're at, it's a different buyer. They're looking at different things. They have different expectations. So it's studying and knowing the market and setting the expectations. And I think sometimes, correct me if I'm wrong, it's probably that way here too. You have to be in the market so much to know this data, because by the time it becomes statistical data, you're already behind the 8 ball. So if you're a newer agent, you really need to lean into the more experienced agents that have a lot of listings on the market, that see what the buyer activity looks like at all price points. Because it doesn't matter what happened 3 months ago even. Like I was asking Sharon, are you guys seeing multiple offers? We are absolutely seeing multiple offers. But if I'm not in the market enough and I don't know that, I'm not really preparing my seller for things like that. But also, and then we talked about it on our call, we're not overpricing houses because multiple offers are coming either. We're still being very realistic, and we're gonna go into this, but I always give people 3 prices. Above market, it's gonna sit on the market, you're probably gonna have to do a price reduction. You're gonna be exposed to about 40% of the market that's in the market right now. At market, you're gonna be exposed to about 60% of the people that are in the market. We probably will sell within average days on the market, or if you list it below market, it's a very strategic move, right? You're gonna be exposed to about 80 to 90% of the people in the marketplace right now, but you're also gonna sell, and maybe, I can't guarantee it, but maybe even for more than market price, because that demand is there. There's pent up demand in our world back from really September. It's coming out of the woodwork right now. And it's knowing that stuff that you can't even if you understand the TAR reports at a high level, it's knowing like what's happening in actual life this week that's integral to really guide your search. So lean into the seasoned agents that see and know and have the listings and can tell you, you know, I got 7 showings at 500,000 this week and I'm getting 2 offers, that know that sort of in the moment data that will set you apart.
Yeah, so I heard tell the truth, even if it's tough.
Yeah.
And you grow into that. I mean, you grow into being able to, and then really the overarching message of like partner with someone, because the thing is like the information in y'all's brain, let's say, to an agent, like we just had an agent join our team, it's like, I got a listing. And I know they're so excited and you don't want to like squelch that excitement,
I know, yeah.
but you're like, you're about to go mess this up,
I know.
you know?
I was sitting here
It's
and
not just-
I elbowed Mary Carol because one of our new agents said she has a listing appointment tomorrow. I'm like, she even didn't practice the listing presentation. Like,
That's the
you can't
thing.
practice in front of people right now.
Yeah, and so like I know they're gonna, it's not their fault, they're
No.
excited, but they don't know what they don't know, and it's like that excitement, and so last 24 months, what do you feel has changed, because you're literally in the weeds?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of positivity, because I love to get out and talk to sellers about listings. Okay.
I'm gonna have to yell.
And positivity in my world is because now I can stand out. Now it's not, oh, I can put my house on my Facebook group at my neighborhood and someone's gonna buy it. And I would argue that even in COVID times, if they listed with me, I would have got them 100 over asking versus 50 over asking. And it's because I prepped the home so strongly for any market that every buyer in that category will wanna buy it. So it's just consistently still, putting the time and energy into slowing down, prepping the house, showing them how the data will go there, the way I say it'll go, and then being confident in that. And at that point, they just, here's my key, let me know how it goes.
Yeah, so the thing that, if you guys don't know Sharon or know her business, she's really good at getting sellers to, you know, do the improvements. Who here struggles sometimes with like, even having to tell them they have to paint their cabinets, which is, yeah, it's tough because you're like, oh God, like, that's what they say. My cabinets are honey oak from 1997. I don't want to paint them. I think they're fine. All we need to find is one buyer, Sharon. I mean, look at that. That's real wood. All cabinets are real wood. They're just painted. That's what I used to tell them. But I mean, I was good at getting them to do things too. So tell me, like, you go, actually walk me through your processes of, you know, everybody has their own process. So you get a call, hi, I want you to come list my home, you're a referral from a friend. Great, wonderful. Now, what is the process? And I'm gonna be the cabinet lady with the honey oak from 1997 that I picked out. Honey oak. So what is your process?
The process for me starts with that first conversation. Just a little bit telling what you're doing, where you're going, filling out those motivations, where, you know, when you have to be there. You know, fortunately, a lot of people for us, we've already been working with them, they've bought, we've been teeing them up to sell, but we haven't been in that house yet, right? Because they're like emptying it, getting it to a point they're comfortable coming to see.
Yeah.
But I just had the guy who owned the house for 30 years and he's like, oh, you want to paint the cabinets? And the wife was already thinking, thank goodness, that we were probably going to do that. I said, if you want, you don't have to do anything. My world is you don't do anything. Do you want to make more money? And most people shake their head yes. Do you want to be
That's
quicker?
the line. Do you want to make more money? Who has trouble saying that though? Do they feel salesy saying that? 'Cause that's what they want, y'all, and if we don't tell them the truth, they're not gonna make more money, so I love
And
it,
I've
keep
used the
going.
line a lot too.
Yeah.
If you told me to paint the exterior of my house pink and white stripes, even if I hate pink and white stripes, but I know pink and white stripes is gonna make me 10,000 more after the expense of doing it, that's what I've gotta let go of. It's no longer mine, it's for the market and for what's going on in the market,
Or
right?
just get you sold.
Right.
Sometimes it's not even making them more money, it's just getting
Getting
it
you
sold.
sold.
Getting it sold.
Yeah.
Versus just sitting on the market.
So if you're walking through and so you're telling them as you walk through, so you just get to the house.
I don't
you're-
overwhelm.
Yeah.
I learned that lesson. Learn that lesson. Sometimes you walk through a house, you tell them too much too fast, and they don't like you because you told them things they really didn't want to hear and a lot of it. So I walk through first and wait for that time. I see the crack over the doorway, I see the peeling wallpaper, and I try to pick and choose a couple that say, hey, you know, when we go through, we'll make you a list, it's free to you. But it will really serve you well if we follow the list. It's over and over again, tried and true. You're gonna get great results from this. So I'll point out one or two things like, hey, da-da-da. And sometimes I'll do it after I've walked through and I'm downstairs and I'll bring something up maybe I didn't point at the time. And they're like, wow, you're observant. You really notice things. Well, I notice things because I know buyers are gonna notice it. There are these little corner eye catchers. They may not even tell their agent why they didn't like that house. But it's those handful of things they saw and they think, if I can see those, what can't I see? And it shuts them down from
Write
buying the
that
house.
down. If I can see those, what can't I see? Because this is the gold that when I would go to the Mike Ferry
Yeah.
retreats and there would be a Sharon Evans on the stage and I'm like, oh my God, that's gold. And then practice that in your scripts. And that's what I'm talking about. Those little things, because your brain might not think, oh, I wouldn't even think to say that.
Yeah.
That's a golden nugget. That's what I call that.
Because the more they feel it's polished.
Correct.
And move-in ready, well, I'm gonna live in this magazine, that's what they wanna see. Even though you've seen their house, they trashed their last house, and the buyer still wants to buy one, who doesn't? That makes them feel good. They wanna write a check and get excited about, not one that they go, yeah, it has a lot of my boxes, but I wanna keep looking. And you guys as buyer's agents see it all the time, so you should be able to speak on that too. When I walk buyers through houses that happen to change that fluorescent pink room and putting in the new carpet in, can't, you know, the 1,000 people ask, can't we just offer them a carpet allowance? Well, they wanna see your dog pee and your pink fingernail polish your kid spilt and all the things, and then think again, I can see this. This is how they take care of their house. What else can I see? So you don't want that. You want the cheap vanilla outlet carpet rolled in one day and so much more value to the buyer.
And I feel like, you know, you can get to saying these things when you're not attached to the outcome. When you're so attached to the outcome because you don't have a lot of opportunities because you're not really doing the prospecting and the effort, you're like, oh my God, I can't like make one wrong statement or they won't like me and then I won't get this listing. And is that a great counselor advisor? No, because now we're worried about being liked. We're worried about us. We're worried about me, and our money. And that is absolutely not a great way to take a listing. I mean, it's tough sometimes because you can see it in their face when they're like, paint the cabinets, but they're maple.
But I think you showed the picture, like our
Yes,
resident
yes,
presentation
yeah,
has a couple before and after.
So talk about that a
Are
little bit.
very easy to see.
Yeah.
And I'll give you guys this example because it was very clear to me. I was just trying to teach my son who's graduating from college how to price houses, which I figure if I could teach somebody who knows almost nothing and be, well, I'm gonna call my pricing analyst for my team to help them. If I can start teaching them the steps, maybe that kind of will continue to formulate a process that I just know in my head. But we were pulling up homes, pricing a house that was probably $950,000 to $1 million in Cary. And he was pulling up with me the actives. And I was like, see, that's been on 58 days. See, that's been on 35 days. And you know what he said? Ugh. You know what he said?
You need to show the seller.
Yeah, and you know
Because
why he
that's
said
real.
it? Is because it was brown cabinets and tan tile and orange toned hardwood floors. And then we went to the pile that was pending and sold over asking. They were white, they were gray, they were bright, and he saw it immediately. And he has male DNA and he still saw it, right? So I'm just saying that is effective. And I think especially, sometimes it's hard when it's just the single guy who's owned the house for 30 years, but at least for this last one, which was a great example for me, the wife, you could tell she had her hair right, her clothes right, like she knew it was coming, and she was open-armed to it. And I see when I answer his questions in my emails, she'll, after about 2 or 3 rounds, move forward, please. She'll come over him and say, let's move forward.
this, yeah.
But he pointed to his green speckled laminate 1996 countertops, which I had the navy version of those in my 1996 house. And with the wood band beam around the, bead around the edge, and he's like, so if you paint these cabinets, what are we gonna do about these? They're fantastic. I said, they were fantastic 30 years ago when you put them in, but those have not been used at least in the last 25 years, right? And buyers want to buy a newer feeling home. And she looked at him and smiled like, yep. But again, you don't have to do anything. I'm just going to show you the path to get there. And all my clients do it. They just do.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
rare one that's maybe inherited a home. It's as is, put it for sale,
Right.
sell it low.
And me too, because sometimes people feel like, well, but Sharon, if I start painting the brown and then there's the cabinet, like where do we stop? And that, do you guys ever feel that way? Like where are we gonna stop this nightmare? Because we've got linoleum and we've got old light fixtures and where do we stop? So what would be for both of you, because I know I have an answer for my basic, but where would be for both of you? You've got a 1970s, you know, the shag carpet, the brown paneled walls, the white ceiling with the beams, the brown trim, you know the house.
Yeah, yeah.
And they do
Goes
want
on
to do
and
some
on.
updates, but where do we stop? Because we got tile and countertop, I mean, we can keep going.
Yeah.
So what would be your,
I think everybody's situation is different.
yeah,
And kind of what Sharon said, you can definitely overwhelm somebody and shut somebody down in a New York minute. So you have to first get a temperature gauge of where they're at, what they actually can do, what could you maybe do to kick in if it's worth it. And to me, I always say, if I'm a buyer, what are the rooms that are the most important to me? And at different price points, I am gonna do different things. Because $1 million+ buyer, if there's not many homes on the market, and I know somebody would buy this just because of where it's located, we maybe don't have to do as much on that house because they'll just buy it for where it's located. But if it's a house that I know I'm up against several other things, I'm definitely putting a lot of attention on the kitchen, the main living room, and the owner's suite. And that's about it, because I feel like guest bedrooms and everything else are easy. And I'm also heavily focusing on the curb appeal, because if they can't move past that first picture, they're not even going on the journey of looking into the house. So that's usually
so when you say kitchen,
Where I
is
lean-
it countertops,
countertops,
appliances,
flooring,
flooring,
and
painting cabinets? Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
because
hardware and the light fixtures.
hardware and light fixtures.
And sometimes it's just countertop and light fixtures. Because honestly, some of the wood tones, not the honey, but some of the wood tones are coming back.
They are.
Or if you just put in light countertops and trendy, people love light fixtures for whatever reason. Light fixtures
They're the
woo
they're
somebody.
the candy.
Yeah, they're the
Eye
candy.
candy, yeah.
But it gets people to like click on the house.
Yes.
And to me, at the end of the day, my biggest focus as a listing agent is how do I get the most exposure for this house by using video, but the look. And, you know, we can sit up here and say it's easy to tell people these things now. It is, now that we've done it a long time. But you also need to build a brand around it where you know they're calling you because you do take the time and put in the effort. And have the vendors that don't charge them an arm and a leg to do the things. A lot of the reasons why people don't even list their house to begin with is because the whole process is overwhelming to them. We charge people more, but we'll coordinate your countertops, your paint, your
vendor list.
staging, we'll coordinate all that for you.
Say that again, you charge them more
Yeah,
to do
four
that,
and a
not
half
less.
percent. They
Yeah.
pay for everything. We charge 4.5% just to help coordinate it.
And a lot of agents do it as part of their
Yeah.
2.5%, 3%. And
Yeah.
it's like, that's a lot of time
Yeah.
invested
Yeah.
to project manage that.
1,000%.
And I think that's where more confidence comes in to say,
Yeah.
I'll do all this
Yeah.
with our vendors, which by the way,
Yeah.
if you guys are selling 100 plus 200, 300 homes a year, our vendor list is going to charge you less because
show
we have-
up.
Correct, and they're gonna
Show up and
Yeah.
charge you
When they
less.
say it.
And usually, I mean, if it's a house like that, I can probably have that house on the market in 2 to 3 weeks with my vendor list. New countertops, paint the cabinets, paint walls, do flooring, and have my stager in there. You know, and that's what people want. I think sometimes we think they're so fixated on the cost. It's the ease. I mean, why do we all get Instacart and DoorDash and pay double? We have to look at ourselves as real estate agents the same way. The more that we can leverage off of their mental capacity, it helps us build a brand that we get houses ready and that we list them and sell them at ease at a higher price. But it also builds a level of service with somebody where that person, if you do all that for somebody and help them sell their house quick, you have a client forever that will tell everybody about you because you did so much for them.
So I wanna talk about, we've done these updates, which you two are really good at. We've done the updates. Some of them, some of the objections I hear is, okay, well, first of all, you know, that seems like a lot of money to put into a house. And so, which is the lack or scarcity mindset from the agent. I haven't done this before often. How do I know that they're gonna get that money out of it? So I think that comes in time, right? It comes in time
And seeing it.
and seeing it.
Yeah.
But they're comps, the visuals are, the
That's what I
visuals
mean,
are there,
seeing that
right?
it
So,
actually
so
is a
tell
thing.
me how, when they say, well, how do I know that my home is gonna sell? If I spend this, what do you guys think the average amount your clients put into homes is? Maybe different areas, different price, but what do you think? Cause mine was always just around under 10 grand.
Mine's
It was
15 to 25.
15 to 25, you did more than I did.
5 to 7.
Okay, 5
But
to
we're at a
7.
lower, I mean,
Right, it depends,
we're in
right?
Burlington, yeah.
I always remember Sharon did even more than I did, so I called it like lipstick on a pig. I did as much as I could without having to, you always did countertops and you really went so 15, 20. So if they say, well, Sharon, how do we know? Well, how do you like reinforce that, make them feel comfortable? Because I think they need to know that.
The comps and the data. I just show them like a house has to look like this to sell for this. It is very clear. If your house does not look like that, now a buyer's perception is, let's just say I'm gonna have you put $22,000 into your house. A buyer's perception of that is 50 to 100,000.
Yeah, it's always double.
Minimum.
Yes.
And
Write that down.
And then they gotta find the guys. They gotta take off of work and beat them. They gotta hope they show up and do the job and don't steal something from their house. They gotta da-da-da. And by then, they don't do it. What do?
Yeah.
They go bid on the next one next weekend that I fixed up and pay 25, 30,000 over the asking.
Because it's convenient.
Because they can click done, write my check. That's what buyers truly want. If you want a contractor to buy your house and them flip it, or Open Door, or anybody, and leave a bunch of equity on the table, I can do that all day long. That's easy, right? I throw the sign up, we can take some pictures and just sell it. But I'm offering my services and my input so that I can get you so much more. And I'm very enthusiastic about it. And I'm very I'm excited to make you so much more money. And they're excited about it too.
So I used to say to sellers, when a buyer walks into your home, they have their clipboard and they're looking at all the things that you didn't do, and their list gets really big and they walk out the door going, it's not the one, like you said. Your job as a seller is to make sure that that list is null, like really low, because the buyer has the key to your bank account. So you don't want to change the carpet, I get it, neither does the buyer. You don't want to paint the cabinets, neither does buyer. And oh, by the way, in North Carolina, when does the buyer move into their home? The day after closing usually. The moving van's in. When do these people have time to do these updates? So like you're creating a wedge between the process for the buyer, because they're going to do these updates. But unless they have the capability to figure it out and have to go to temporary housing themselves, think about all the extra costs. Literally the buyer's saying, I'm selling my home and I have to move into this home. My rental's up and I gotta move into this home. So it's like they have to almost understand that process, that they're not really making it easy for the buyer, so we have to do it. Okay, so let's switch gears. You do the improvements. I know this has happened. It's happened to me. If it didn't happen to you, then you are the reigning queens. You do all the improvements and the house doesn't sell. It sits, which we've all probably had that happen. So I think that's another fear. It's like, oh shit, I told him to do these things. Who's ever had that happen? And then it didn't sell. So walk me through that conversation.
So I think anytime you advise them of anything, ultimately, at some point in time, it needed to be their decision.
Yeah.
The more you tell, the more the finger comes back to you, and you'll learn that a time or two, and then you realize that this doesn't feel good and we ain't doing that again. You have to get them bought into it. You had to have showed them and continue to communicate with them what is happening in the market. I think it probably happened to a decent amount of us last year when the market shifted and pivoted and like every buyer in America went away for a month or two. If you're hiding and not forward facing your client and updating them every single week of it's not just your house, it's the market right now. And if you want to stand out and show them, I mean, I do like Loom video updates to my sellers on a weekly basis, especially when they're not selling. And I show them this is what's new on the market, this is what's sold on the market, how does your home stack up against it? It's really like I do a listing presentation almost all over again. And honestly, I will have already probably said something to them at the listing appointment where they know that we need to do a price reduction. And I don't even have to ask. I'm just showing them what's happening in the market. It's the second or third time I've done this. And they're coming to me like, we need to be below those houses because those houses are far superior to ours. And the more you can educate them where they just come to you ready to take action because you've planted the right seeds and set those expectations and kept up to date with them, not hiding. You know, the worst thing you can ever do to a seller is to leave them in silence because then they create this horrible narrative of they feel your fear. Without you even having to say anything, they feel your fear. You know, so one of the first things I do every single Monday morning is I update my sellers. These are new listings, this is what's pending, this is what we're seeing in the marketplace, this is what's happening with rates.
You send them a Loom, you said, or you call
Yeah,
them? Okay.
I send them a Loom video.
Yeah.
Because calling doesn't give them a visual of what's came on the market. And I want them to see like, and there's sometimes during the week, I'll be like, dang, this listing just came on the market. It's way better than ours. And I'll update them and they'll be like, let's do a price reduction. You know, you have to stay on top of the market, but you also have to be communicating with them because they see stuff. And sometimes you not calling them, you create a lack of trust almost instantly. So I think one of the, we didn't have to do that for a hot minute. We didn't have to update sellers because we were selling so quickly. One of the processes I put back in implementation last year was every Monday I'm updating my sellers. Even if it's no news, you need to stay in front of them and communicate with them so they know that you're keeping a pulse on them. Especially when you have a lot of listings, the last thing you want to say is like, my listing didn't matter, It's people can turn on you when they're not seeing, they can turn on you fast.
Yeah.
And the more you keep that level of communication open, the smoother the process will go.
Communication is collaboration. Yeah, I would
It
every
is.
Fridays were my days. Now I did
Yeah.
calls, but I would email them the list.
Yeah,
So that was
yeah.
probably because we didn't do
Yeah, Bloom
Zooms or
video
Zooms.
wasn't.
And I was out of business 3 years ago, 4
Yeah.
years, I don't remember, but yeah, it was every
Yeah.
Friday, but that's it. No
Yeah.
news is, this is just what came on the market, I'm watching it, this is what's going on.
Yeah.
So Sharon, you did the updates. Why isn't our home selling, Sharon? I know it doesn't happen often, but.
No, we
It
just had
happens,
it with, two properties. One I didn't have to do much to, the other one I did a lot to. But through that government shutdown, like they went on and boom, nothing was
Yeah.
happening. But you said, just talking to them, explaining to them, showing them data that, hey, nothing else is selling in your zip code, in your price point, plus or minus 50 grand, like nothing is selling. It's okay. We may find this market shifts because people will panic and lower the price. I don't think you need to do that right now because that, especially one of them, she would like to have sold, but she didn't have to sell. The house wasn't empty. Matter of fact, we took her off the market and then we were gonna go on 3 weekends ago. Well, snow hit. She didn't want somebody slipping on ice on her back porch, front patios, though she was about 80 years old and she didn't want anybody to get hurt, let alone her going in and out for showings. But we sold it last night because we put it back on the market and it was almost a rotating door of people coming in. So timing can be something that we cannot control, but they are informed on what's going on and how we're interpreting it for them, so they can make decisions with you. Is it better to lower the price and move it out, or is it better to take a pause? We take pauses for lots of people over holidays or over certain situations like this.
Yeah, I love it. So, all right, so I want to open it up a little bit because vulnerability, strength, there's different levels of years in the business. It's hard to have, how many years, 25, 30? She don't want to say 28. How many years?
This is year 20.
20. So years in the business, like even if you're a 5-year agent, there's just stuff in there that it's going to come with time. Tell me some things you guys are feeling stressed about, because again, a lot of these questions that I was asking them came from my top agents who are like, we don't know how to do this. It happens and the market shifts. So give me a couple like things that you guys might struggle with and let's open it up to them. So we're not just talking at you.
I just have kind of a staging question.
Two, okay, yep, staging. And you-
And just,
Oh,
go, no,
go ahead. Okay.
Where everything was gray, then everything's white, right? And then in every like trend following thing, we're seeing like the saturation, right, in colors.
Yeah,
I still find that like, if maybe there's some blue or whatever, like that might be acceptable, but are you guys recommending colors and anything, or are you still just going, keeping it as, it's easiest to go like as neutral as possible across the board, right? But
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
in
Like
like,
creamy beige right now.
I know, it
Yeah.
would be creamy
Like
beige.
creamy
some
beige.
form of white, right? Yeah, like, but are you doing recommending any of that, and anything, you're trying to make it pop?
What creamy beige? I know you have your colors, so
Yeah, I
what
have
color,
my
what are your
colors.
favorite colors?
I
know it
like-
depends, but,
And it depends upon what else is already there.
yeah, yeah.
I like
yeah.
a Swiss coffee because Swiss coffee can blend if there's grays in the house.
Mm-hmm.
It can blend if there's other, I'm more warm.
Yeah,
I'm always more
going
warm.
neutral
Yeah, warm
all
neutral.
across the board.
Mm-hmm.
I don't ever recommend high trendy colors unless it's competing against other houses with high trendy colors.
Yeah. We
Or a
go,
luxury price point, right?
we go
Basic.
very physically, so
Yeah.
our painter I've had for 25 years, he's like, if I see another bucket of accessible beige, because we
Yeah,
for like,
I was gonna say accessible beige.
that
I'm
was the
over
color, we
accessible
did
beige,
it, we
too.
did it for like 10, 12
10
years.
years, at least.
Then everybody
Oh,
went to
wait,
agreeable gray,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
we went to,
Pewter.
another kind of silvery gray,
Uh-huh.
and then we went to a bunch of sea salts in the bathrooms.
Yeah.
And I think now, because it just depends on the other things in the home, if there's gonna be
Uh-huh.
furniture in the
Yeah.
home, what that looks like, if we're gonna get it totally empty, like, just the style of the home, you gotta know, am I gonna go a little cooler, or am I gonna go a little warmer? But definitely neutral, right? My favorite right now is Drifted Mist, and it's actually a really, really faint gray, but it has a little bit of warm undertone, and it just depends, but it may not go in every house, right? So, but we do control all of that, because we make the list, we make the spreadsheet. We don't let them tell us what colors they want, or what light fixture they want, or anything,
I
right?
usually
Yeah.
pick it out and
We
tell the
just-
painter.
Like,
Yeah.
here's all the
This is
stuff,
what we're doing.
it arrives, and it gets installed in their house.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and if you don't have if you're like, I don't know what to pick, I mean, because again, you can paint everything white, and then if they have alabaster trim,
Mhm.
that's like a yellow,
Yellowy,
all of a
yeah.
sudden, their
Then
trim
it
looks dirty.
real yellow.
Yeah, it looks gross, so like,
Yes.
if you don't have that genius, and you're not like, I have it, hire a stager
Yeah.
and let them pick everything, because it truly, you can mess it up, paint is,
Yeah,
you can mess it up. I love cotton right now, that's a great
yeah.
warm white, but
I
again,
like
whites are hard.
Whites are hard.
But yes, accessible beige for 500 years.
Yes, that was the color.
so I have a question. So say you took a listing, they priced it a little bit higher. Now you've done a couple of reductions. They're like, no more, we're not reducing, but it's not selling.
I just keep going back to data.
Yeah.
I just have to show them, like, are you gonna be the front of the line and check out? Oh, I had that like at a seminar one time, and it always stuck with me. Like, if you're not at the front of that grocery store line, you're gonna let people break in front of you, you're never gonna check out. So I just have to keep showing them, are you at the front of the line? You're not at the front of the line, you're not gonna check out. Like, I don't know what else, like, it's just logic, right? What other solution do they think you've got? Like,
And there's some listings you just need to not take in the first place. We had one last week where he got an appraisal for $850. His house has been on the market with 3 different agents. And it was a newer agent on the team, but I said I would not list that for any more than $700. And I said, we're not willing to take it at $850. It's not realistic. And you have to learn to say no, because eventually he's gonna get tired of all these other agents saying you can sell it at $850. And your word is so valuable. And the more you give in and discredit yourself, that's the brand you create. And sometimes saying no is a future yes. And you have to learn to not chase the money and say no and stand up for what you believe in. And I promise you it will reward you tenfold eventually.
yeah, and you can even think about, like, if he's not gonna do it, it's
Yeah.
fine, it's
Yeah.
just, you can give it back. I would
Yeah.
say these are our choices right now
Yeah.
because my integrity's on the line. I don't wanna just leave it because that's not really, hope is not a strategy. Oh, I hope somebody walks in. So we can either do an adjustment to make it the clear choice like they're talking about, right? This is where you become the clear choice. We've had X amount of showings, we've had this many offers, this is what the market's saying. Right now, you're the highest bidder for your home. So you get to keep it. Or we'll just take it off the market. I would rather give the listing back.
Mm-hmm.
And when you actually say, I'm gonna give it back, because
Yeah.
they just feel like you're gonna do what they say forever. When you say, I'm gonna give the listing back, because I don't wanna keep it on the market, I think it's gonna be detrimental to your house. You're gonna have this house that has all these days on market. It's just really gonna hurt you than help you. I'd rather let's just take a pause because what you want and where the market is not in alignment. And that's all that's happening here. Bob, it's okay. Just take it off the market and I'd like to give it back. And you'll see that most of the time they'll go, oh, she's really serious then.
What's where you regain control?
Yes.
To be quite honest with
Yeah.
you, it's when they come back and be more like you're now the authoritative figure. And that's how you honestly sometimes get a stubborn person to move.
Yeah.
I think just the simple act of being willing to walk away.
Yes.
Mhm.
I've seen eyes go really wide when I
Like,
said, well,
give it back.
just respectfully, I'm just not the agent for you, to be honest with you. And I say it very genuine.
Nice,
and-
yeah.
And one guy, one time he was like, well, you do know the commission on site. I'm like, absolutely. I said, but down the road, there's a guy that would pay me this, that will listen. And that's more important to me.
Yeah.
Because they respect and trust what I'm giving them, and that's what's gonna get the house sold.
Yeah.
And they quickly get, most of the time, they quickly get in line. Because then it's a challenge, oh no, you're not gonna quit on me. It's almost kind of the
Right.
reverse, but.
And I think this was not something I learned early on, this was something I learned by failure. Those people that don't value you steal much more than that one commission from you. Because your energy, your level of confidence, they drain you, they take so much more away from you than that one house. And I think I wish I would have like stood up and said no to people a lot quicker back in the day, because I would have had a lot more energy and passion and time to focus to like the people who really did value and listen to me.
Yeah, and it all goes back to, again, it's not even your opinion, it's, well, can
Right.
we agree?
Yeah.
Can we agree that
Yeah.
this is what we see or the market is saying? Like you said, you're calling them every Monday, every
Yeah.
Friday. It's like, this is just, we're in alignment that this is what the market's saying. So it's not even about trust. It's like just obvious logic that we're trying to, be under. All right, what else?
Vendors, what's your process for, getting vendors? Like
Vetting vendors?
reputable, Like,
Mhm.
yeah, like not overcharging and things like that. How do you do that? What's your process?
So most of our vendors are people that have actually done work for me, so I know they're not gonna, they match and align with their brand. You know, cause vendors, they have to show up, they have to dress the part, they have to know what the goals are. They know my vendors have done work for me and know my level of expectation. And they know that they need to treat them better than they treat me. And I never refer somebody that's never done work for me. So start getting stuff done around your house, Get a painter to come in, get an electrician, talk to another seasoned agent that maybe has a vendor list. Because your vendors are a direct reflection of you. And if they don't show up or if they don't do a good job you're the person that recommended them. And that's why I say I never ever recommend anybody that has not done work for me, because
Yeah.
I wanna know they're the sure go thing.
Fortunately, I own a lot of rental properties.
Yes, that's
Mhm.
we have lots of stuff.
So we can test out somebody. I have tested out a new painter on just an empty house. I knew the seller was not gonna be anywhere. And found out they were not what I needed. So
Yeah.
it probably cost me $1,000 in the end, years ago, that I had to then bring my go-to painter in and have him finish it up and fix some things. But that's kind of an investment in my business, right? Is
Right.
that I sometimes have to write a check to
Yeah.
test somebody else out here or there, that's to see if they're gonna be somebody. And I don't know, I just get that right vibe from people, we all know how to read people, and people who just, you can tell, they've got the work ethic, they wanna show up, they understand, like, I need painting, I need light fixture, I need caulk, I need this, like, this is gonna be our typical thing. Let me see you showing up and doing it well.
It becomes
And-
another process in your business, honestly.
Yeah.
And they become your business partner.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
ask around.
Yeah.
I think when I got here, It was so great. Marty Hampton had her entire vendor list on her website, and I got here and I was like, sweet, that's my new vendor list. I mean, right? I was like, thank you, Marty. That was amazing. So yeah, and a lot of realtors actually have their vendor list like out for you to steal. But yeah, I mean,
to our clients.
yeah, it can be hard grabbing someone's painter. Like, no, I'm not giving you my painter because I need my painter. But yeah. So my painter ain't got time for nobody else but me.
Yeah.
My painter went every day. Yeah. From 1 van to 7 vans. I'm like,
Yeah.
now you forgot us. 7 vans.
You do have to keep them in check though.
Yes, you
That is one thing, you gotta reel them back in every once in a while.
For expectations, good question. All right, we've got room for one last quick question, then we're gonna break and have lunch. So one last question for these lovely ladies.
So I think this probably has a lot to do with what market you're in. So our market's kind of lower medium. But how do you navigate through, like if you go through that punch list and the seller simply does not have the money to put into.
So we're in a lower market. Our average price point is like in the 300s.
Same. Yeah.
To me, it's declutter and get that thing clean. Goes way further than almost anything ever does, to be quite honest with you. And I just put heavy emphasis and focus and try not to overwhelm them. I'll say like, get your notepad, let's go room by room. I'll even help them do one room so they get the concept of it and say it's not really that hard. Because the more that I can get them out of the mindset of being overwhelmed of it so hard, it's not really that hard.
Or it's gonna cost them so much.
Or it's gonna cost them so much money. It's just time.
Yeah.
I mean, unless they're a hoarder house, it's probably a weekend of doing stuff. And I have like little mommy tips, you know, get a big clothes basket. And when it's time for a showing, put everything that you need to get off the counter in that clothes basket. Put it in the back of your car and roll out. Fill your garage up with stuff. I'd rather have less stuff in the house and in your garage. And I mainly only focus, I care what guest bedrooms look like, but it's the main living space, the kitchen and the owner's suite. And the outside, especially this time of year, now that spring's coming back. And smells are a thing. I tell people that. I mean, I call it out if they got a stinky house. The girls on my team are like, how do you tell them if they got a stinky house? You tell them they got a stinky house. You do, you buy them a candle, I always put Pine Sol in the toilets. I'll pay for a deep cleaner to come in, because that house reflects you. And if you're paying for photos and everything else, why not pay $200, $300 for a cleaner and get it to your level of expectation? And I mean, I said 5,000 to 7,000. I mean, most of my houses, I just have them do that, to be quite honest with you. And but they also see that we've done that too on our listings, and they kind of already, they'll be like, you can't come over yet. That's always like the one thing that they say. And I'm like, I've seen it all, you know, let me come over. I'm here to help you. I'm not here to overwhelm you or cost you a lot of money. I know if they're already like waving that flag at me, I already know, like, just come from them from like compassion and empathy and nurture, and move them past the fear of it all.
And a lot of times they have so much crap in their house that seeing it empty is like, it doesn't feel like me anymore, and it feels like really empty.
Yeah,
But that's where
still.
like your pictures, the
Yeah.
before and after staging, like you want everything off the wall. Curtains,
Yeah.
I mean, those god awful curtains that are too short. You know, everyone's seen those curtains, like,
Yeah.
let's just take them down,
Yeah.
patch up the, you know, and then even white bedding, like you can buy a $20 comforter set on Amazon right now. Make
And
sure.
give them those little tips. Or
Yeah,
I
those
send them
little
the
things.
links so they don't have to like search for that.
Yeah, like you curate your list of like, these are the must-haves. Here's the Amazon links.
Yeah.
And then this is what I want the rooms to look like. And the cool thing right now, you guys, is you can literally take pictures of the houses and the rooms, and then in your presentation, like Sharon sends back, like show them what the room should look like. AI can just clean it up, because you say, hey, AI, just destage, declutter this room, take down the curtains. Like, you tell AI as your personal assistant what to do. I want white bedding, leave everything exactly the same, but I want white bedding, white walls, take off all the paintings, and now they're gonna see what they need to do, because people are not visual. They're not, and a lot of realtors are not visual, so then it's the blind leading the blind, unless you have a stager. So, yeah, that's good advice. Cool, and I'm probably crazy, because I put money in people's houses.
And
Yeah,
that's what I was
she
gonna
does.
ask you. I know some people do that, and obviously it's a risk. I've done it one time, and it was like a very rare circumstance.
Yeah, I think you have your calculated risk though. I've got a divorcing couple in Cary right now, and part of winning it was because they were gonna fight over, nobody was gonna put money in the house, is I'll put up to 10 grand into your house, because they've owned it 15 years, it's got tons of equity, they're both engineers. like me. And it was just easy for me to say, I'm gonna take this battle out of your way. You're gonna sign off, I'm gonna make a plan, I'm gonna fix your peeling cabinets in your kitchen that are going to kill your home sale. I'm gonna paint this red accent wall from 20 years ago. And, you know, we're gonna do these things. And then I got them excited about it and excited that when they sign off on whatever that's gonna cost, up to 10,000, that it's just gonna be paid back at closing. And then it sealed the deal.
Do you
They're
make
like,
money back from them at closing? Do you make extra money back?
I mean, I get 6%, so I'm happy with that, you know, but,
Month and, like 6% on top of the 10%.
on
Or
top of the
10,000.
10,000,
Okay.
yeah, or whatever I spend. I might only spend 8,200, whatever
Yeah,
the number
whatever it
is. I just told them I will go up to 10,000 into your house. Now, I don't do it every time, but I know they're A-plus credit people, I know they got tons of equity, and I know the house is gonna sell in a day. if I do what I want
She
to.
does make
Yeah,
them
yeah,
sign a contract.
Yeah.
She does. Yeah. She'll put a lien on their house if they don't pay.
And it's just because the house will sell anyway. But I just want them to make so much more money and be so happy and tell others. Matter of fact, she was referred from a divorcing fellow, now that I think about it, who I did the same thing for.
And that comes after years of
Yeah.
confidence and
Yeah.
just knowing your stuff, right? You're like, I could do this.
Divorces are the hardest.
Exactly, exactly.
And sometimes you can actually, your vendors may extend a net 30, net 45. Like, I work with vendors that, I'll do the same thing. I'll offer to front the money to do whatever needs to be done. I have a contract that says they're gonna pay me back, or I'm gonna get it, we won't close. Like, there's a way,
Right.
you know. But at the end of the day, like, I then just turn around and flip to my vendors and try to basically save all that I'm gonna put out in capital by saying, hey, pressure washer and cleaner, I need a net 30, I need a net 45, I need a net 60. And they're gonna extend it in some cases because they've worked with you for a ton of times. Or just say, hey, I'll back it, you know, whatever it is. So sometimes those relationships actually help you. And then if you start doing that and find success, then make it what sets you apart by offering this program.
I love it. I love it. We'll give these ladies a round of applause. They're amazing. And thank you, ladies. So I think we're wrapped up. Did we have food today? We do? Okay, I didn't even smell it. Usually I'm like, I smell it. So there is food back in the conference room, Brett. So just start going back there for those of you that are staying. For everybody else, thank you for coming. For those of you online, if you're still there, we will see you next time. Bye, y'all. See ya. All right.